All right, so we are live.
Well, hello, hello.
Yeah, we're just going to give a few minutes for people to get on, for me to make sure our settings are good. And so how's your week been?
And I can see us. I see us. So we are live.
Okay. How has your week been?
Week has been so far, Tuesday. It's been good, and so thrilled to had a wonderful dinner, going away dinner for a friend yesterday.
Oh,
Very nice. So
well, that was nice.
yeah, that was really good.
Where is she going away, or he going away too?
He is leaving the company and moving on to his own business venture. So that is very exciting.
His own business. Wow,
Yeah.
that's a big step.
Yep. Yeah, it is.
Leaving his position where he is.
Yes. So,
Mm,
but I think it's the right time.
yeah, good for him. Good for him. All right. Well, we're at 4:28. Everything looks good. Um, so I'm in Jackson Hole.
Yes. That's wonderful.
Yeah, it's been really nice. My quads are screaming. They are screaming. But it feels good. It feels great to just be out in like that kind of air in nature with the
Hmm.
beautiful trees. And today we were going up in the chairlift. No, we were going up in the gondola, and there was a moose right on the side of the trail, like a moose right there, huge, huge.
Oh, that's great.
It's so amazing, like to be around the kind of wildlife and nature. And
Mm.
every time I come here, I just feel closer to God, really.
Well, let's see.
Yeah.
We're live now. I have to step out of frame for just a quick second. I need a cup of water.
Okay, go ahead.
But I'm still here.
Okay.
So hello, everyone. It's Tune In Tuesday.
It is Tune In Tuesday from wherever we are.
That's you know, God for the internet.
Yes, it's amazing. It really is. It makes it so fun that we can tune in from wherever we are, and people can tune in from wherever they are.
That's right. It's
So, and this half hour is dedicated to you, to the viewers, to people that want to spend just 30 minutes getting a crash course on something that will propel them to growth.
mhm, that's right. To lead,
Right?
because the goal is to lead. What is it you say? No, it's not a fabulous life. It is an incredibly awesome, fabulous, wonderful. I just good life.
Yes, ridiculously amazing.
Ridiculously amazing. That's it.
That's my goal, right? I mean, is that your goal?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
It
I
really.
don't know if there's anyone that wouldn't want to live a ridiculously amazing life.
That is it, because you get one. You get one life. So why not make it ridiculously amazing?
Why not? I mean, I aim to do that every day.
Yeah.
Every day it's like, what could make it ridiculously amazing?
And
You know?
but the reality is, I mean, there are people who say, "Oh, well, it's easy for you to say." Well, okay, let's just be absolutely truthful. Not every day is ridiculously amazing, but it's amazing that you have something to look forward to. And you know that even if today is not my best day, there's a better day coming. I believe that. And I'm able to compartmentalize specific, there's something that happens. Okay, that one thing, that's not good. That was bad. But it's just right here. It doesn't affect the whole life. It doesn't make it anything other than just something really, awful that's in that particular space. Now,
Right.
and there are some spaces that are bigger than others. That's the truth. But it's still, I believe, and I want other people to live a ridiculously amazing life. And I think that's
Yes.
here is to help.
Right. And the thing is, you're absolutely right. Not every day is going to be ridiculously amazing. It's not. But even in the situations that aren't,
Hmm.
there are some things about it that you can pull from, that you can learn from, that you can grab little hints from, right? So even in stuff that's difficult, there are hints there in what we want to tell ourselves about that story. And this is where the self-talk comes into play, right? Because we are all narrating our stories.
That's exactly right.
So why don't you get into that self-talk a little bit?
And I think if we take a moment, we find that there's more talk. We talk more to ourselves than we really think we do. I mean, a lot of times you say to someone, talking to yourself, they think it's mumbling out loud and being incoherent or something like that, or just making noises. And that's not really what we're talking about. Because if you take a moment and breathe in and just be silent and listen, there is a conversation going on inside your head with your own voice. And the thing that I find about that I think about that is often it's supposed to be my own voice that I trust the most
Mm-hmm.
credible voice I have, or the most credible voice there is a voice I hear most often. And I learned that there are a lot of times that voice is not telling me good things. That voice is not always positive. That
Mm-hmm.
voice is probably the most negative voice that I hear. And it knows every secret that I have. That's the most interesting thing, is that you
Yes.
have a voice that knows every secret, every the things you would never tell anyone else. That voice
Mm-hmm.
knows. And has more files on you than the FBI and the CIA together. And so there you are with this voice telling you, all kinds of things. Conventional wisdom, perhaps, it leads people to believe that there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
I can't stop it. I can't silence it. Nothing, other than something, drastic that could possibly hurt you. But no, I mean, we're talking about being able to talk to yourself, to build yourself up, to and not just empty affirmations, but understanding what your desires are and talking
Exactly.
that direction and how it
Exactly.
is. So, what experience do you have, Laura, with self talk?
See, I love what you just said, because it's not about saying, I'm wonderful, I'm happy, I'm wonderful, I'm happy, and you're going to be wonderful and you're going to be happy. It's not that simple. It's got to be tied into a big belief, right? So one of my experiences, and I just want to say, Rhea, we have, I don't know if Mary is still on, but Mary, I don't want to say her last name wrong, but Birchenow? Is that right, Mary? Do you see her? She's a JMT friend, and she was living in Hawaii, and she's making a big move.
Really?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I just wanted to say hi to Mary if she's still there.
Well, we
And
can say
thanks.
hi to Lynn Bowman, because Lynn Bowman is my cousin in Toledo.
Oh, is she on? Is she watching?
Yes.
Hi, Lynn. And Donna's here, and a friend of mine, Jane, is watching too. But so how do you create these affirmations? to have that meaning. So, Stephen Covey says, work with the end in mind,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I used to worry a lot, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I used to worry. And so I had to ask myself, do I want to be a worrier? No. The answer was clearly no. I don't want to be a worrier. Okay, so what does it look like not to worry? And what does it mean? What can you change your story about so that you don't worry all the time?
Mm-hmm.
So that's, to me, it's just not as simple as these affirmations that you just go around telling yourself. Your story has to have a meaning, right? So the difficult times have meanings too, but it's what kind of meaning does it give us? And I know I've come out open and honest on this before by saying, when my father left our family, I was faced with a choice about what meaning I was going to have that take in my life, right? So I could have had a meaning of, men can't be trusted and probably never enter into a relationship with anybody, and I wouldn't be married for 33 years, right? So what meaning do we give these difficult situations
Mm-hmm.
in our lives?
Mm-hmm.
And it's really about that. Like, there are people that have had really difficult circumstances, but here's the thing: we're not our circumstances.
That's right.
We are so much more than our circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
Our circumstances are nothing, right? There are facts and there are truths.
Mm-hmm.
So the facts could be that my circumstances are difficult right now. Maybe I'm having difficulty with one of my children. Maybe there's difficulty in my marriage. Maybe I had abuse in my life,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's facts. Those are facts of my life. But the truths of my life is not those facts. The
Yeah.
truth is I'm stronger than that.
Mm-hmm.
The truth is I have higher potential to be anyone I want. And the truth is I could love myself. And if I loved myself, then the shame would go away. The feeling of not being enough would go away. The doubt would go away, because love conquers it all, baby.
That's right. And it is the self-talk that can be an act of love to yourself. I mean, I can remember having having to remind myself years ago when I was in school. I um I worked full time and went to school full time, and I think this was really my first experience with self-talk. And it wasn't that I read it in a book. No one instructed me on how to do it, and it just came out of a need. It was just a very organic kind of thing. It just came out of a need that I had at the time to remind myself that I could do it. That I was facing something difficult, but it's like, you can do it. You can figure this out. And I even have a name for myself, it but it was just reminding myself that I had the capability, that I was stronger than what I thought I was at that
Mm-hmm.
moment, that the future was bright for me,
Yes.
and that I knew that if I continued, it's just try this one more time, just take one more step, just one more class, do one more thing. You can do this. You really can. Now, the funny thing about that was I didn't know that other people, and I think I've said this before, I didn't know other people had similar struggles. And
Mm-hmm.
and consequently, there may be people who know me who had no idea that I had, moments where I didn't know I could do it. Oh boy, there have been plenty. And this is what has helped me. I mean, I was able to accomplish a goal then, and I remembered that. I remembered, go back, talk to yourself, talk yourself through it. Yes, you can do this. No, that is just an obstacle is finite. That obstacle is finite. So recognize that it is limited, and that you can overcome that limited thing. So I had to do that on a regular basis, and still do it. Still
Mm-hmm.
time. And not actually time to time, daily. I talked about that sense that you talked about, you're feeling that you're not enough, and there was something that I wanted to do, and what it takes to do this is you have to have those moments where you ask yourself, what do I want? What is important? Why do I feel it's not happening? What do I need? I mean, you have to have moments with yourself where you're asking yourself and responding to those questions.
Yes.
It's, you know, what do I need? Why isn't this working? How am I feeling? Okay, so just a little sidebar. I took an acting class, and one of the
Is
things.
that, wait, I have to ask you, is that where you get that voice that you can do? Rhea, let's give a secret away. Rhea can do voiceovers, and she is amazing. So did you learn that in the acting school?
No, you know what? I took acting classes so that I could become better at voice,
Okay.
and that was one of it. And then I had these delusions of grandeur, all of that kind of stuff. And then,
All right, so go ahead with your story. Sorry, I had to interject that.
but I took acting class, and one of the exercises that we had in the class was a check-in where he would tell us to ask, how do I feel? Excuse me. How do I feel? And then you'd have to respond, I feel happy. How do I feel? And it would get you closer to your true feelings. You
Yeah.
have to ask yourself, how do I feel about this right here, right now? And what I learned from that, first of all, was generally I didn't ask myself how I felt about things,
Right.
and the true feelings, and it made a difference. That exercise had an impact on my life because I still do the check-in. There's
Mm.
something, if there's something going on, I can check in with them. How do you feel about that? What's going on with that? What do you need? So I even developed for myself, and I've talked about this before, these little walking meditation kind of things
Yeah.
that, no one can hear you do it, but to be able to, with each step, say something to myself, what is it that I'm
Mhm.
reminding myself of? So self-talk for me has helped me develop and grow. And I feel that it's kept me safe emotionally too.
But you had to do that, Rhea, until it became a habit for you.
Yes.
That's how many of us, and I don't know, let's see who's on here. Oh, yes, Lynn is here. Eileen is here. Debbie. Debbie is an incredible teacher at one of the Long Island school districts
Hi,
who's,
hi, Debbie.
she does amazing work. She really does. Love her. Gage is here. Hey, Gage. Um, Gage is an awesome, very hardworking young man, extremely hardworking. And my son is the same age as Gage. And I could say that Gage is he's a hardworking young man. He's going to go really far. He really is. I love him. Eileen says, let's get her comment up here. Eileen says, let's see if this will work. Can we see her comment? Okay. So Eileen says, loving ourselves gives us strength and makes each day easier. Each day is a challenge, but believing in ourselves is so important.
Yes,
Incredibly important.
it is.
Incredibly important.
And sometimes people make us think that that's vanity. I think it's necessary. It's not narcissism. It's not vanity. It, you want to live a ridiculously amazing life, and to do that, you need to grow, and to do that, you need to share with you. You need to be in touch with yourself, and whether it's talking aloud or just talking inside of your own head, it's important. You need it.
Well, and the thing is, we're going to have a conversation going on inside our head no matter what. Okay.
Yeah.
The conversation is going to go on. So it's a matter of what you want to believe about yourself. And it's really a matter of who do you want to be? Because, like I said before, there was a time in my life where I worried a lot. I didn't want to be a worrier. So I had to say, okay, what is going to take away this worry? Well, when you think about it, what could take away worry? Faith. Faith could take away worry. um, trying to control what you can control. Certain things we can do. And then how do you bridge the gap from where you are to where you want to be? And you know what that's called? That's growth.
Yes, it is.
Growth is the only thing that can bridge the gap from where you are to who you want to be.
That's right.
Because we're grabbing hold of our potential. And as women, let's face it, we care about everybody else. We want to be there for everybody else. We worry about everybody else. I might have had a terrible circumstance in my life, but guess what? I'm not going to worry about what it did to me. I'm going to worry about what it did to my kids, my cousin, my husband, my mother, my sister, right? So those questions that you talked about, asking yourself, what do I want to believe about me?
Yes.
You know, who do I want to be? And what is the growth plan? What we talked about last week?
Because it's very deliberate. It's not just an accidental occurrence.
It's got to be intentional.
It is quite intentional, quite deliberate, and it takes work. And I'm not talking about having to give up your day job to do this. I mean, it's something that you're working through constantly. And
Yes, always. Growth never stops, right? It's not a goal. And that's one of the things John Maxwell says a lot is we could be goal oriented or we could be growth oriented. Growth oriented never stops. Goal kind of does.
yes,
We slow down once we reach it. You know, so Donna's up here on her comment. Hi, beautiful ladies. So glad to be here with you. We're glad that you're here with us, Donna. Thank you for being here.
absolutely.
But you know, who we believe about ourselves. Like I took, you know, I don't know if those of you came on late, but I am in Jackson Hole, Wyoming on an incredible ski trip with my family. But because of internet, and Rhea's in Virginia,
Yes.
we could still do our power half hour, right? So this is a half hour dedicated to your growth. Just a lousy little 30 minutes.
Yes, yes.
Right? But it's a power time, right?
It
So we're going to be chock full of information.
That's right. It's a
But
powerful tool.
I brought John's book with me, right? Today Matters, which is an incredible book. Have you read that?
No, I have not. It's on my list of John Maxwell books I have to read.
It's so good. It's so good. And it's where he got the only way to guarantee a better tomorrow is with a better today.
Yes.
Right? And that if we lived each day with the right tools, then tomorrow will be better and brighter, right? But there's something in here I just want to read for a second. He talks about, John says, I saw a story about a St. Louis doctor who met a young man in high school who had lost his hand at his wrist. When the doctor asked about his handicap, the student responded, I don't have a handicap, sir. I just don't have a right hand. And the doctor later learned that that young man was one of the leading scorers on the high school football team. And John goes on to say, the greatest handicap a person has is not realizing their own potential.
Yes. Oh.
Now that young teenage boy, he could have viewed that as a handicap. I'm handicapped, so I can't play football. I'm handicapped, so I'll never be one of the starters. I'm handicapped, so I won't be so good. But he didn't. He didn't view it as a handicap. He viewed it as, okay, I don't have a right hand, but I could still do things. Again, he narrated that story.
Right. And we have to be careful of what we make things mean. For him, he did not make that mean he was limited. He didn't make it mean he was limited. And quite often there are things that come up and we make them mean something that they don't really mean. All it meant is exactly what he said. All it meant was, I don't have a right hand. Okay. Limitations are in other places, but I just don't have a right hand. And there are things that happen to us. There may be things that people even say to us. There are things that we say to ourselves. They don't have to mean anything other than the fact that was said. And that was it. That's it.
Any limitations are all here.
Yes.
You know, we have everything it takes to live a ridiculously amazing life. We have everything it takes to overcome anything put our way, but sometimes we limit ourselves. And, you know, I've had a lot of transitions in my life. I was in banking, I was a mom, I went back to college at 40, and all that stuff, became a crisis counselor. One of the reasons I went into coaching is because I saw so many people becoming their circumstances and staying stuck. And the only way we don't stay stuck is if we grow. If we don't grow, we will stay stuck where we are, who we are at that moment, and our growth will cease. But if we grow, if we do something every day to create some kind of growth in us, we're not going to be stuck. We're not going to be stuck. Lynn, thank you. Look at Lynn's comment here. Aw, thank you, Lynn. Can you read that, Rhea?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
Learning that belief in self will help to propel myself through life. Yes, I'll get to embarrass my cousin. Thank you, sweetie.
Yeah, but it's so true though. And it's something that as women, I really don't think we think about a lot. We don't think about our self-talk. We don't think about the story we're narrating. Some of us look at our everyday lives and we don't pull out
Yes.
the hidden gems that are there. And sometimes they come in tragedies. I was speaking with a mom today about her daughter. She had a crisis last night with her daughter, and she was really focused on this horrific kind of tragedy. And there were some positive things in there that she didn't see. And sometimes we don't see them because we're stuck in the situation. So sometimes we have to reach out for support when we feel stuck.
And sometimes we have to remind ourselves of our own accomplishments. I think that even being able to look back and say, I made it through that. You know, I was in a horrible situation and I made it through that. I was alone, I was lonely, but I made it through that. Or it could be, I was a single mother, and there were people around me who said you couldn't do it, you shouldn't do it, but I did it, and I did it well, and we all survived.
And you know what, Rhea, because let's face it, how many mothers get to be at the point where they can say, I did it well. I don't have any, there's nothing I shoulda, woulda, coulda changed. You know what? There'll always be something looking back that we probably would have done better now with the knowledge we have today.
Yes, even if you don't
but
have.
Celebrate. Even if you don't have kids, exactly. But I think mothers we do that. We definitely do that very often. And I think that knowing that we did the best we could with what we had at that moment is something that I say to myself very often. I always did the best I could. My kids came, as first as they could be in my life. And depending on people's circumstances, sometimes they stay stuck in the wishing part, in the wishing it was different, wishing I did something different, wishing I might have known something that I didn't know. Celebrate what you have gone through. Celebrate that you did it.
And recognize that wishes don't work in reversed. They don't. And I firmly believe in just going beyond wishing and attaching action to it. Making it desire, attaching action. So you're just going beyond just simply wishing. But they don't work in reverse. So no matter what's happened, what you've done, just saying, I wish doesn't change it. It is what it is. But
it's a regret. It's a regret that we focus on, and that keeps us from moving forward.
yes.
And growth. We get stuck in regret or wishing, like you were saying, which is very true, right? In order to change something, in order to grow, we need action. We could wish a million things. Wishing isn't going to get us anywhere, I mean, wishing won't cut it. Action will. So if there's something that you don't like going on in your life, if there's something that you want more, take an action step and tell yourself why you could do it.
Mhm.
You know, I changed a lot of things not to be the person that worried all the time. That didn't happen by itself. I didn't wake up one day and say, I wish I didn't worry so much, and it stopped. I did the work. I worked on things like my faith, my self-belief, because who you think you are tells the story. That tells the story. I could be the victim. I could be somebody who was hurt, somebody, you know, who had tough circumstances, or I could pull what I can use to grow from those situations
Mhm.
and be victorious,
And
you know?
I think you have been. And I do think too that one of the things we both learned is you have to talk. Sometimes you have to talk back to yourself. There are some times that you say things to yourself, and we've all done it. I would think we've all done it. I've certainly done it, where you do something and say, "Oh my gosh, you are so stupid." Oh no, no, no. That's not the way you talk to yourself. It's not.
Mhm.
Oh my, oh, I just, no, that's not the way. You don't even have to say you're stuck. You don't have to say that. You speak positive things to yourself. Speak loving things. Speak lovingly to yourself, the way you
Mhm.
would to a child that you loved. We do that with kids. If a kid says, "Oh, I can't do that because I'm so stupid." Oh, sweetie, no, you're not. And don't say that to yourself. So,
Mhm.
so we shouldn't talk that way to ourselves either. It's
Yeah.
it's harmful.
And Eileen says, you know, it's okay to say I need help. And
Absolutely.
that's, you know, that's really true. Who is in your inner circle? Who's there that you could reach out to and say, I need help? You and I, you know, Rhea and I met in a coaching relationship, and we've talked about that inner bully
Mhm.
that's in there sometimes.
We did.
When didn't we?
Yeah.
That there's an inner bully that sometimes wants to tell you why you can't do any of those things that you want to do, why
Hmm.
you can't be the person you want to be because this happened or that happened. So that means you can't do it. And what did we say we do back to that inner bully?
Talk back to the inner bully.
Just like you would any other bully.
Exactly.
Guess what, buddy?
Yeah.
I can do whatever I want. And Paul Martinelli, he's the president of the John Maxwell team. One thing he talks about often is the difference between somebody with high potential and low potential is that they don't know their potential.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the thing, and I think there are only ladies on now. Lynn, did you see Lynn's comment?
Oh my God, the inner
Oh
bully.
my God, the inner bully.
Yes.
Yes, that inner bully. Shush him.
Oh, I mean, Paul Martinelli tells a story about his inner bully, and I can tell you that's a phrase that Laura and I came up with, as far as I know. But
We should patent that.
inner bully, but he tells a story about the self-talk and reminding him of he should be fearful and afraid, and you may have made a mistake. And he said he had to tell himself to shut the up. He had to say that because,
Yeah.
and sometimes that's what you have to do.
Yes.
I've had those moments where, and you and I have talked about, my inner bully, and you're not this, you're not that, and then some of you just shut up. I am so.
Yes. But again, how did that come up, Rhea? It came up because you took the time to go into a coaching partnership, right? And so those things that you talked about earlier, I want to revisit them for a second. Like you said, ask yourselves the questions. Take the time for you. Write in a journal. You know, so much comes out when we spend that time just thinking about what do I want? Do I want to be more fit? Do I want to worry less? Do I want to reach a goal or a dream? Is there something I've always wanted to do all my life, but I never did it? Well, guess what? It's not going to work if you say you're too old, okay? Think of something else. That one's gone.
Mhm.
Not going to work. So think about what it is and then the steps you have to take to get there. What story are you going to tell yourself?
And if you need help, there's a great thing that comes from vulnerability. There's strength in vulnerability. I used to think vulnerability was weakness. Vulnerability for me has been strength. And if you need help, just like Eileen said, ask. You know,
Right?
one of the things that I know from just the limited reading of the Bible that I do, and I do read the Bible, but it talks about you have not because you ask not. Ask.
And if Rhea, would I be out of line if I said this? Because I know you pretty well. I don't think you would object. But if you don't have an inner circle
Mhm.
where you could reach out to somebody and be vulnerable and feel comfortable, you can reach out to either of us.
That's absolutely right.
Okay? Because we know what that feels like. We are lucky. I am so blessed to know you, Rhea, and have you in my inner circle. I am. And so creating an inner circle takes time. It takes thought. I used to have everyone in my inner circle. You know that? My inner circle was like, I wore my heart on my sleeve. You want to be in my inner circle? Come in, come in. I'll help you, you help me. You know, that's not an inner circle. Maybe we'll do something on an inner circle. Maybe we'll do a topic on an inner circle.
I think that'll.
Um, we can maybe do something like that. Okay, so I know our half hour is up, but if anybody's still on, I want to show you the view, if you can see, from my balcony here in Jackson Hole. And I hope that it comes out okay, but it's just spectacular here. I just want to show.
And we get so excited about nature because the two of us live in New York.
Yeah,
So
that's
this
for
is
sure.
spectacular.
I mean, it got a little cloudy. There's a storm coming into the valley, but it's just so beautiful here.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. So it
It
is,
is.
yes, we have gone over slightly. So, but thank you for hanging in there with us. Thank you for continuing to be with us and for joining us again on Tune In Tuesdays. Now, next week, we're going to be tune in another day. Just
Okay, here's what I mean, I could do it on Tuesday. I committed to do, actually, it's so funny that we talk about this because I committed to do an anti-bully workshop with a legislator on Long Island for parents. So we talk about the inner bully. There are bullies, but bullying has become a mental health issue for a lot of students. And so I agreed 3 months ago, before Rhea and I started doing Tune In Tuesdays, I agreed to this at 7:30 next Tuesday. So could we do Tune In Tuesday? I don't know, maybe on Wednesday next week, or I could do it earlier, but I don't know if people will be home from work.
well,
So what do you think?
stay tuned. I think Wednesday works for me. So we can,
Does it?
yeah, any
Okay.
day actually. Believe next week works. So stay tuned. And for an update on Tune In Tuesday for next week. Just one change, one week that will make a change, but still, we want to be able to keep this as our regular time, so that
Yes.
everyone becomes accustomed to tuning in and share. Please share this with others so that we can build up the group and have more vigorous discussions, and we're open to your suggestions. Actually, Eileen, a couple of weeks ago, had a suggestion on a topic for us. So absolutely, we talked about trust, we've talked about judgment, we've talked about
Hmm.
growth a lot. So please, you share this with your friends and remind them to tune in Tuesday, and because our goal is to get you to tune into yourself so you can live a ridiculously amazing.
Woo. Yes, and we are committed to doing that for you. It's a half hour of time to propel you to the next week. So if you have any topics you want us to address, we love that, right? We love to address
That's right.
anything. So leave comments if there's something that you want to talk about next week. And next week, tune in Tuesday. We'll be on Wednesday, but we'll make sure that we send that around.
Yes, yes.
Okay, but just for that week, and I'm sorry about that. I didn't know.
Apology needed.
All right, so what was that?
I said, we'll still be tuning in.
Yes. All right, so have a ridiculously amazing week, everybody.
Yes.
Thank you for joining. All right, Rhea, love you, girl. Take care.
Bye. Bye, everyone.
Bye.